The bishop calls my dad on a Tuesday and says, I need to meet with Kayla tonight. And I know what's happening. He stops responding to my text, everything. I just had a gut feeling. I was like, his mom found out. And my dad knocks on my door. And at this point, like I said, we don't have a relationship. It's gone now. Through the years of me feeling so unbelievably separated, he knocks on my door and he goes, the bishop wants to talk tonight. Is there something you need to tell me? And no. Even though I knew that I would have to,
of course.
I just said I wanted to put it off as long as I could because I knew I was about to be a massive disappointment. So I just said no. And we go to the church building. No one's there. It's just our family, just me, my dad, and Kelly. And he goes, Kay, I want to talk to Kayla first. So my parents are sitting outside of the room. I go in. And I have to tell him everything. He wants details. He wants me.
What types of questions is he?
How many times?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And what age are you again?
I'm 14.
14.
Yeah. How many times? What types of sexual thing? I know this is a podcast, so I don't know how much I can say.
It's important so that we learn to stop doing these things.
Yeah.
So it's not to be graphic or explicit. It's to educate. That's the only intent.
And I was horrified. I didn't know all the explicitness of the details of these questions until
because you're not in the
recently,
room, which is its own problem.
And I even told my husband, and I mean,
so
he's horrified
about what happened.
You're 14. You're alone with a Mormon adult bishop man, and he's asking you.
Yes, and not 30s or 40s, 50s. I mean,
like 70s.
70s. Yeah. And so how many times? Orally questions like that. Just also, and then
it when times.
Yes, masturbation. Yes, like masturbation as well. Literally everything. And then, as traumatic as that was, crying, horrified, he then asked my parents to come into the room and says, what do you need to tell them? And I mean, how long did I sit there in silence?
A long time.
I just sat there, just in silence. He wanted me to tell my parents with him in the room. And I don't even remember what I exactly said. I don't know if I said I've had sex or it was something like that. And I just said it. I genuinely don't remember anything after that. My brain I don't remember. I just remember saying it. I remember that experience, and I don't remember much after that. We were obviously completely cut off from each other. Our families, like, no contact, everything. But we went to the same school.
Your phone, your iPod,
everything gone.
We hardcore punished her.
Yeah.
Were you was it you or her mom?
Me.
She was in the room, so it was my dad and
she
Kelly.
Just to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then. Another experience I don't want to go into happens with the same boy. And I need to move. I had to move schools to go to the school that my brother was going to. And at this point, obviously, I am not allowed to take the sacrament as my bishop requested. I needed to repent.
And we're making you go to see a professional counselor.
Yes, they're making me.
She's messed up.
They're making me see a counselor, an LDS counselor, who I knew. I tried to open up and talk to her about something, but then knew that she ended up telling you guys about things. So then I never said anything ever again. Whenever we'd went, I wouldn't talk to her.
Yeah, she told us everything, Kayla.
Everything. So there was no trust.
Privacy.
Yeah, no privacy, no trust, anything.
And we punished her more.
Yeah, after finding out what my thoughts were. So in church, I'm sitting there. Everybody knows. Everyone. He's not in the ward anymore. His family's making him go to his sister's ward. I have to stay there. And everyone's taking the sacrament, and I have to take it with my right hand and pass it on. Because I have sinned so bad that I can't take the sacrament. Like the bishop said that I could not participate in the sacrament and taking the bread and water. And this is in the first hour of church where the entire congregation is there. The families, other kids my age, everyone is there. So I bet I was just more hyper-focused on it because I was so terrified. I don't even know how many people noticed or anything, but that is shaming inside of me of having to grab it and give it to the next person and not taking it. I'm like, everybody's looking at me. Everybody knows. Everybody's judging me. And every Sunday, it was awful. And I
felt like she deserved it. She deserved to feel that shame.
Yeah. And I just got to the point where I was a brat at first with it, and you guys wanted me to repent so bad. And I was like, I love them. I don't feel bad. And that made them so mad.
What is wrong with her?
That's so mad.
What is wrong with her?
And then I ended up getting to the point where I was just so broken because of it that I just was like, yeah, I repented and was just numb. I was like, I did.
I took you to and from counseling for months.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And
pregnant with.
Yeah. So I had to deal with that. And I remember even at one point, a boy in my ward, when time had gone by a little bit better, I had felt a little bit better with interacting with people because I had basically shut off from the world.
Super suicidal though.
Oh, yes.
And I was angry with you for being suicidal.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a manipulation tactic to
Yes.
Defer her bad choices.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I know it's horrible. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
No. And if it's okay, let me just ask one follow-up question too. When parents, and I made tons of mistakes, even as a progressive Mormon dad with my kids that I really regret. And even when a bishop or, Mormon church leaders, when they're grilling you, when they're doing this inquisition, when they're asking these sexually explicit questions, when they're meting out a punishment and disfellowshipping you and punishing you to not take the sacrament, they're in their minds, just like with you and your brother, they're trying to help you. They're trying to help you stay righteous, help you stay clean, help you stay pure, keep you from STIs, keep you from an unwanted pregnancy, keep you pure for marriage. All those reasons, that's their intent.
Yeah.
What I want you to speak to really quick is, how is it experienced? How is it harmful when you're 14? How does that well-intended punishment, how is that actually experienced, and what does that do to you in terms of helping or harming you?
Yeah.
And take as much time as you want on that.
Yeah. I don't I don't think that it helped in any way. That definitely harmed my relationship with the church. So it definitely the opposite of what the intention was of all of this, surrounding gospel principles and things that we think that should be right. It drove me further away, for sure. Not that I was insanely faithful before. Like I said, I'd pray and felt nothing and blah, blah, blah. But at this entire time, I'm thinking something's just wrong with me. But the church is true. It's just me. So this just dug that even further of, yep, there's something wrong with me. And it's my fault that I'm in this situation. I never truly looked at the adults around the bishop and my parents and the other adults in my ward that were definitely judging me and talking about me to other people. I never looked at them and not really thought that they were in the wrong. It was still me. And now that I'm older and I realize, no, that's not true. And that it was really sad that as a 14-year-old that was all put on me. But yeah, it just drove me further away from the church, and it didn't help build a testimony. I had fake repented so that they would get off my back.
Which is you learning to what?
Lie. And to see, and I at that point already I was having to further and further lie to try and get out of these things because it wasn't worth it. And I can't talk to anybody, honestly. I'm not going to go to my bishop, especially after that traumatic experience, and talk to him about how I'm feeling. It's not going to happen. And especially my parents, who they're ashamed because everybody in the ward, they have this slut daughter, that I'm not going to talk to them. There's no one. And who am I going to talk to? Other 14-year-olds my age? That's, so completely alone. So it just drove me further away from the church. It did not benefit in any way that, even though it was well-intended, it did not. It was not perceived that way, and it did not end up sinking in that way.
How about how you felt about yourself?
Absolutely horrible. Lowest point in my entire life, and think it will definitely stay up there. I know I'm only 21, so I've got years to go, but I think it will stay as one of the most traumatic experiences. And I got to the point where I was extremely suicidal.
Why? What was behind that?
That one, feeling completely alone. So the one person that I had felt love and everything from, I'm literally cut off from. We didn't get to speak. It was a cut off. There was no closure. There was nothing.
Instant
cut off. So no,
we micromanaged her to make sure it stayed cut off.
So no closure. With someone that I loved. And yes, it was 14-year-old, whatever. I loved him. So no closure from that. already the driving relationship away from my parents is even further now. So, and then just being a massive disappointment too. So I literally just couldn't see in my bubble a way out of it. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I couldn't see how this was going to get any better. And especially with the shame that was being brought on to me, why would I want to go to church and continue this? Why would I want to keep going to these things when everybody knows my business? And so every time I went, it just made it even worse. It just internalized that I don't want to be here, and not even just in church living. I don't want to be here. And so when that whole experience happened and I had to switch schools, and I remember being at my mom's house and sitting on the floor and this is like a blur too, for like 4 to 5 days, didn't shower. My mom tried to get me to eat. I was so depressed, and my mom did try to help me and ask how I was doing and did the best that she could to try and help me, but no one cared. And so that's when I really was just done. And the only reason I made it through that time was because of my older brother, who at this point, out of all of my siblings, him and I are the most clash. We hate each other. We're so mean to each other. Mainly him. I wasn't mean to him, actually. He was really mean to me. So we're at this time where he's a senior in high school. I'm a freshman, majorly depressed, having to switch schools. And he just went to bat for me. And I don't even mean like trying to talk to my parents, anything like that. It just was, he was there. He made sure that I was with him. We went to seminary every morning together and went to school together. I had lunch with him because I didn't have really any friends. Then he made it so I was in choir with him. So I was with him for 2 hours out of the day, and then I would hang out with him after school. And it was just that for an entire year. He got me out of that place that was just so hard. And that was another major turning point with the church for me, because the church didn't bring me out of that. He did. And he didn't use religion in any way. He was just being a kind brother or person. So that made me even more angry at the church, because not only did it cause all this harm and hurt, but it didn't fix it either. Because I thought, oh, this was all my fault, everything that happened, so the church should be able to fix it. And it didn't. So it just made it even worse.